morning to you. I'm Eric. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about things that you should not use for weapons. Actually, a specific thing that you should not use for a weapon in prison. That thing is a lock and a sock. You may have heard about guys putting padlocks or combination locks in a sock and swinging it at somebody's head like a mace. That's a bad idea. And I'm going to tell you why. So, let me first explain to you what a lock and a sock is if y'all haven't heard about it. If you hear that huffing and puffing in the background, that's my puppy dog. Come on, Joe. Come on, Joe. Come here. Come here. Let you guys meet him. Come here. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on up here. Come on. Oh, look at that guy. Look at that guy. Okay, now get out of here. So, lock and a sock. Basically, when you are in prison, you have a locker. That's where you store all your food, your valuable stuff, your hygiene stuff, etc. And you need to be able to lock that, especially in a medium or a max facility. You need to be able to lock that. Although in max facilities, they don't give out locks anymore. Yeah. So, at least not in Kansas. So, you get this combination lock. It's a metal lock, a lot like what we used to get in high school to lock our locker. And it's solid. And some guys have heard stories that you can take the lock, put it in a sock, and swing it at somebody's head, and you have a pretty good weapon. That reasoning's flawed in a couple ways. One, state socks are cheap. Two, the lock will rip through the sock because the sock is cheap. Going back to number one. Three, when the sock rips, the lock comes out of it, you're left with an empty sock. So, I have actually seen this happen to somebody. When I first went to prison, and I'm talking about prison, I know I was talking about juvie in one of my last videos, and I'm going to get back to that experience. However, right now I just want to talk about a lock and a sock. When I first got to prison, there was this guy. He was living with another guy. We'll call skinny guy, because one was skinny, one was jacked like a bodybuilder. We'll call skinny guy Bill, and we'll call big guy Bob. Okay, just to keep things simple. Actually, you know what? Not even going to do that. We're going to call him skinny guy and big guy, because I'm going to get Bill and Bob confused. So, skinny guy's sitting at the table with us. We're playing cards, and he's talking about how his cellie disrespected him. And he was also new to the system. Skinny guy was. Big guy had been down for a while. And skinny guy started saying, hey, I can't let the dude disrespect me. I guess the guy was bulldogging him. If you're not familiar with that term, basically it means you have a strong personality, you're bigger than the other person, or you think you're tougher than the other person, so you kind of push them around, you tell them what to do. It's not so much punking them, but you definitely assert yourself over them. Like, you walk into the cell, this is the way it's going to be, this is how we're going to do this. I need the cell at these times. If you don't like it, then we can do something about it. That's bulldogging somebody. So, skinny dude decided that he was going to do something about big guy disrespecting him. And at the prison where I was at, the doors would open in the morning and stay open for most of the day. And so the big guy was in the cell, laying on his bunk. He was on the bottom bunk. He was watching TV, I think. And the skinny guy was out in the day room playing cards with us, and we could actually see the cell. The door was open part way. And the skinny guy is like, man, I got a lock in a sock. And I'm going to wait for him to fall asleep. And as soon as he does, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to smash him. So we all wanted to kind of see this. We figured it might be kind of entertaining. Big guy falls asleep. Little guy makes his move. He goes in there. This is a little dude. Skinny, not very tall. Big guy was a really big dude. Like, he was jacked. Big dude. Tall. Looked like he ate dumbbells for breakfast. The skinny guy goes in there, pulls out his lock in the sock, swings at a dude, hits him right in the face with it, and then the sock broke, lock went flying. Skinny dude did not know it. So the big guy gets up off the bunk, and he's standing in front of the little dude, just giving him that look, Little dude pulls out, he's got this sock, he thinks there's a lock in it, and so he starts wailing away at the big dude. Sock's empty. He's hitting this great big buff dude who's very angry because he just got hit in the face with a padlock or a combination lock. And now he's being slapped in the face with an empty sock. And gradually it dawned on this little guy that the sock felt awfully light. And he looks at the sock and a look of realization comes over his face, like, oh shit, what am I gonna do? Well, what did he do? He ran. He took off out of that cell and would not go back in it. After lockdown, he knew the big dude, when the dude ran out of the cell, sorry about that, when the dude ran out of the cell, the big dude just sat back down on his bunk, just staring out the door. He knew the little guy was going to have to go back in there. He absolutely knew it. So at the end of the night, you got to go back to your cell. Well, little guy decided not to go back to his cell. When they told everybody to lock down that night, little dude went to the front of the pod and started cussing the cops out. He's like, I'm not locking down. You gotta lock me down. Make me lock down. That's what you do. Well, they took him to the hole for refusing to lock down. But that's why you don't want to use a lock in a sock. Man, I don't encourage violence. But when a lock is used effectively in prison, usually just take your belt. You have a state-issued belt. And you tie it to the lock. Real simple. Then it becomes a mace, and it becomes a deadly weapon. And I don't recommend anybody use a deadly weapon against somebody else. Locks have killed people in prison. Not even an exaggeration by any means. You have a heavy piece of steel flying at your head, it'll do some damage. It'll crack your skull. It will kill you. So, don't do that. Don't ever do that. That's how you end up with a new case in prison. That's how you turn a 3-year to 5-year sentence into a life sentence. Don't do that. Don't do that. Alright. Short video. That's all I gotta say. Don't use a lock in a sock. Don't do that. It's a bad idea. Bad idea. You guys take it easy. I'll see you around.
Break these chains. They can't hold what can be.